Can you describe your process and some techniques that you use when you're working with musicians and trying to coach them?
A producer, it's almost like a psychologist, I would say. I don't have a degree in psychology, but so there are many elements of politeness, and I don't know if I should call it manipulation, but there is a little bit of that. All of that would be under the umbrella of kind of psychology, I would put it this way. What I usually do is trying in the most straight way and respectful way, try to obtain what I need, right? So obviously there are kind of universal things, like for example in coaching a singer, you have to make sure that she or he is warming up correctly. So I know some of those cool exercises, those things that they do, and I kind of coach them in doing that. But also, I think it's very important that you build a session in a way that it's comfortable for them, so that you can obtain things the way you want. So for example, when I record vocal, I never do a session that it's longer than 2 hours. And when I do that, I also consider a certain amount of time of rest or break or something like that. And I always start from a place that it's very hard at the beginning, so that I know that after warming up, they reach that chorus the way I want, and then I go from there. I make a lot of jokes. I try to make them very comfortable, and I really like to work next to them. So nowadays, with the computer, with our computers and the interfaces, you really don't need them to be in a room that is like a kilometer away, and they're in the dark and behind a glass, and you don't see them. It's very nice to have an audience next to you. And if I can show you that I'm actually appreciating what you're doing right away as the thing is happening, your performance get affected much more. So I really like to be next to the singer. I'm just pretending you're my singer right now. Yeah, exactly. So it's very cool to do that, and it comes naturally to become their buddy right here. And why don't you try to do this? Why don't you try to do that?
How do you feel about, if you're working with a vocalist, tuning their vocal while they're there?
That could be, it depends, once again, it depends on the person you have next to you. I worked with a singer, I think I'm not allowed to say the name, but
you don't have to.
I'm not going to do that. So we were students here at Berklee, and she's a very conservative jazz kind of oriented singer, yet she loved to work and play with the electronic music when she was with me. So I was putting autotune right after, so I had this track that was already set with a lot of plugins. Among of them was already the autotune.
Finish recording, take off the bypass.
Exactly,
Yeah.
exactly. So, and she was literally right. So you could hear the steps, and she was laughing about it. She was enjoying the
But at the
process.
same time, there are other people that you
don't want to do that.
Yeah.
So once again, you have to know the talent you're working with. For that reason, I guess many singers have their own coach, and they stick with them because they know each other. You have to create that kind of connection. So I don't think there is nothing wrong if there is nothing wrong, meaning if they accept it, right? But I want to point out something. Lately, for some reason, there is this trend of kind of putting in the box of mixing and editing the tuning process of a singer. And I want to point out that those are two different moments. Those are two different things. And you can be very aggressive, and you can be an artist in tuning up things in a very delicate way or very aggressively. And that really changes. You're producing. You're not only mixing or editing. That's much more than that. So kind of watch out for that. That's not one process.
Yes, of course.
Two different things.